Our overarching philosophy at Pecora Dairy right from the beginning has been a gentleness on the land and sustainability. So for us now to be able to say hand on heart that we produce more energy than we use is a huge thing for us.
G'day, I'm Mike Keynes and I'm one half of Pecora Dairy.
Cressida Keynes is my name. So Pecora Dairy is our sheep dairy in Robertson and cheesery in the Southern Highlands, a couple of hours southwest of Sydney.
Here at Pecora Dairy, we're farmhouse cheesemakers. We produce about 10 tonnes a year from about 150 milking ewes.
So we have a beautiful ecosystem on our farm. We're quite heavily wooded. All of that feeds into the health of our soils and the health of our pasture and therefore the health of our sheep and ultimately the beautiful milk that we have for cheese making.
The process of making cheese is very energy hungry. So there's a lot of heating and cooling that goes into making a cheese at its best. A lot of temperature control, and that creates a great need for a lot of energy.
And of course, one of the other issues on farm for us is that we need that energy to be used on a 24-hour period. You know, we can't just sort of, milk when the sun's out. And so one of those issues of the continuity of energy supply was really critical in our decision with renewables.
So here at Pecora Dairy, it's one of the 3 farms that we've provided project management to in the consortium. This particular farm had its own individual energy requirements and project requirements. Specifically, we have helped them implement a solar and red flow battery system. There's 45 kilowatts of solar, 60 kilowatt hours of red flow batteries.
At Pecora Dairy, we had a number of frustrations. One was the supply, not just from the power grid, but also most of our hot water was generated through LPG, and LPG trucks sometimes would refuse to even come onto the property when it was raining. One of the challenges is that we're here at the end of the line, and from time to time we get blackouts and power outages, and sometimes those power outages can last anywhere up to 2 or 3 days.
It's very challenging and quite frankly it's enormously stressful. Obviously from a food safety point of view, you not only need milk at the correct temperature, you need cheese at temperatures and maturation rooms again at different temperatures. So to have that disruption is incredibly stressful.
We needed to go down a path where we were taking control of our own energy security. But also we foresaw with our production increasing that our energy bills were only going to get larger. And by having solar panels and batteries, we're able to capture energy when the sun is shining and put it into batteries to be used early in the morning or late at night or whenever else it needs to be used. And so for us, it's been a huge contributor in driving down our power bills. We were extremely lucky that we've got some very like-minded friends, farmers, that were also on the same page. And we were also very fortunate to meet Aidan from Quantum NRG. Together, we're able to understand what the intersection of all of our needs were. And we're absolutely thrilled that the DPI were able to see our project, see the benefit of it, not just for our own businesses, but as a model for the agricultural sector more broadly.
It's just been completely life-changing for our business, and that was really fantastic that they were able to not just look at the big guys, but also look at us as a smaller but just as important enterprise.
Through this project, they've electrified their hot water systems. It's a very smart solution. It takes the water temperature to 55 degrees, and there's a secondary system that then takes it on to 90 degrees. It's very energy efficient. It's powered by the solar and the batteries. Further beyond that, they also redesigned their maturation solution to reduce waste and get better end quality in the cheeses that they produce on farm. Again, all those units are now powered by the solar and batteries using renewable energy, and the overall mix is that they've now brought energy generation and storage back onto site. They're in charge of their own energy generation and storage, and they're very much more self-sufficient and certainly more secure.
So another element of our business is a cheese and wine bar. It's our bricks and mortar, which we've opened in town. Obviously that's pretty energy intensive as well. So one of the fantastic things we've worked with on this program is a peer-to-peer trading system.
The benefit of the peer-to-peer solution clearly is if you create excess solar and it's not stored in your batteries because it's beyond that, then it just goes back to the grid and it gets either used by someone or sold on by the retailer, presumably. But in this case, they've identified a property within their business portfolio that can use the excess to create credits against their consumption at the offtake site. So this is a generation site, the cheese and wine bar's an offtake site, and that gets the benefits of the excess that can't be captured and stored on site. And so over the last 30 days, you might be interested to know that 42% of the energy consumed at the cheese and wine bar has come from the dairy.
Really?
So almost half the power.
That's unreal to know. Yeah, because I just wasn't sure how much was sort of converting into the real.
Yeah, that's right.
And obviously, I mean, even when we're closed, we've still got fridges on and we've still got electricity usage. So that's just wonderful to know.
Yeah.
And to be able to really drill down and get that is perfect.
Yep.
Core to our project is our whole system of cooling and also the hot water systems that we use. So we exchanged our plant and equipment for more efficient equipment that was much more energy efficient. And then when you combine that with the solar panels and the batteries, we've ended up in a place where we're paying something like a third of the bill that we would otherwise be paying right now.
But now to receive those bills is just such a fantastic feeling. And also when we get word from up in town that the power's off and we're here milking and just cruising straight through and the machines are all working and the cold room's working, and you know, for us that's really lets us sleep well at night.
One of the things that we absolutely make sure we do now is that when we see really bad weather on the horizon, we're able to go to our battery setup and we're able to make sure that the batteries are full and stay full in readiness for an anticipated power outage. So that's something that we've learned along the way to do, but it's something that we had to learn probably the hard way, to be proactive and understand what the weather's doing and make sure that our battery decisions are right for, you know, preparing for all that weather.
And I think like with any tech, when you're introducing it on farm, there are nuances which need to be adjusted to make sure it's being maximised for production use on farm.
My message to other farmers is, even though we've addressed energy efficiency in this project, I think we've addressed energy security as well. And if the farmers are out there that want to walk through this process and understand how they can address energy security better, using some of these reference sites as a reference point, then that's available to them.
I think for farmers it's really difficult to be able to find the technology often that will suit their enterprise exactly for what they need. There are so many solutions out there and it's really fantastic to see in the renewable space, and it's growing at such a pace. But for us, we had some specific criteria about what we needed on farm, and be able to understand how the tech is going to work exactly on our farm is really important for farmers to be able to make those decisions, because it's a huge investment, obviously, and they need it to work for the best way possible for their farm and specific to their enterprise.
I know plenty of farmers are worried about converting out of LPG. LPG is a very efficient heat source, but by thinking of these in an innovative way and thinking about things like preheat and then boosting, and you know, there are ways around reliance on gas. If a gas truck can't come down the road, it doesn't matter to us because we don't use gas. So I think electrification is a big opportunity for farms, especially farms that value add like ours, and that's a very good story to tell as well.